Hello Dota 2 fans and welcome to another edition of GG League Season 2. This is the round of 16. This is our second last best of 3 until the quarterfinals. We have London Conspiracy versus, as you see on this team screen, Team DD, which is basically all the former members of MYM. Arise was meant to stand in this morning, but the full squad actually showed up as expected here. So I am Maurice Pease, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster, and joined today by Michaelorus. Michaelorus, how are you, my friend? Michaelorus. My bad there on that.
No problem, dude. No problem at all.
It's,
DD Dota, you said, I mean, pretty much ex-MYM, they took a couple of pieces from Lions, a couple of pieces from old Fnatic, and they have played together quite a few times in the past, so I'm sure that they'll do very well against London Conspiracy. If anyone doesn't know, London Conspiracy, ex-PC International, so maybe that will provide a little more context.
Yeah, certainly these 5 players do have quite a bit of chemistry. They've played together in under a few tags, as you mentioned. So we'll hop right into the draft here. Tidehunter are going to be the first ban from London Conspiracy, so just taking out a pretty strong teamfight hero. Good offlaner for obvious reasons with that Kraken Shell and the Anchor Smash. We'll see how DD looks to respond here. Are you looking for any respect bans at this point, or just things that these teams don't want to see that put a knife into their strategies?
Oh man, it's been a while since I've seen this ex-PC squad actually roll, so I don't recall exactly if they have any super flavorable heroes. That being said, I'm sure if they did pick up something that was super flavorable, I would have remembered it. So I don't think that DD are going to be throwing any respect. It's probably just going to be, you know, good old Razor, Death Prophet, those types of heroes take the ban, as those are just generally scary no matter who's going to be piloting them.
And there will be the Razor ban on cue. Lycan going to be banned out by DD here. They did elect to pick the Radiant side over first pick. So we will see what London Conspiracy responds with here. Perhaps the Ogre Magi. Been pretty popular as a first pick throughout GG League, so we could see that definitely come out first. The Death Prophet, of course, another predictable one for FP, and it will be banned out here by DD. So we'll see what LC looks to take up here. And they do pick up the Brew for the mid lane, so for obvious reasons, space creating hero, very good team fight hero. We'll look to see if DD counters it up, perhaps with a Skywrath Mage or some other silence within the first phase.
When you know you're up against a Brewmaster first pick, what you want to pick up is crowd control that comes out quickly, and Skywrath Mage is probably the most common one to be played in that role. So if you're going to be opening up with a Skywrath Mage, then you can either go down the route of Vengeful Spirit or Faceless Void. I think those are probably the 2 common ones to pick up, or just go with Centaur Skywrath Mage, and that also has a hell of a lot of burst damage. So getting the quick Ancient Seal, getting Surprise on Brewmaster with the Blink Hoof Stomp, those are some great ways to kill him off.
Interesting pickup here from LC. For obvious reasons, Centaur Skywrath, as you mentioned, very good roaming combo. If they're able to get up that Blink in a timely fashion, that Hoof Stomp with the Ancient Seal, even just the double edge overlapping with the Ancient Seal, is a hell of a lot of magic damage. But Enigma going to be grabbed up here from LC very early on in the draft. Do you think that this is going to hamper their ability to lane, giving away the fact that they may have a designated jungler this early? Of course, we could see Enigma run in the offlane. EG Universe has done that quite a bit, but probably less common than running him out of the jungle just by virtue of how much more farm he gets there.
Yeah, I would say 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to see Enigma actually going towards the jungle and being happy with that. It is going to hurt your lanes. I mean, there's no real way around it. Yes, Enigma can occasionally gank, but the odds of that actually working out consistently and frequently are very low. So what they need to do right now is pick up a support hero that is going to be very self-sufficient in lane, that is going to be able to poke and prod without needing anyone else's help. And they're just going to have to resign themselves to not getting kills in the super early game, because it's not going to happen. It's going to be where they pick up the Brewmaster Ultimate, I think, is going to be their earliest time to strike, at least with the heroes they have right now.
Yeah, you spoke earlier of lockdown, and obviously we now speak of strong support duos up against probably what is going to be a dual lane here from LC. The Ogre Magi still on the board thus far, so we'll see if DD perhaps looks to go for that. Another interesting thing I can't get over, this is the 5th game in a row. We've had 2 best of 3s, both that went 2-0. This is the 5th game in a row Broodmother has been banned in GG League. How the hell did this hero come into favor?
Dude, you're not missing that much. I mean, Broodmother's, like, she has been cancerous just as a hero pick since she was actually released in Dota. I saw her picked up the other day, and it was up against the Lions. I don't really remember who they were going up against, but they
Command
instantly
minus.
responded with an axe. Yeah,
Mhm.
no, it was someone else. It was, yeah, but either way, it was Broodmother versus Axe in lane, and well, I don't have to tell you how that went. It was disgusting.
Yeah, sorry. My apologies on that one. Commander Minus and Lions, it was banned out both games. I know a couple days ago, BBC picked it up for Padrino up against Moscow 5 International. And Padrino actually crushed in the safe lane up against an off lane Alchemist for ZXC at the time, I believe. So that was pretty rough going for him. We'll see here what direction DD looks to take their draft in. They'll ban out the Razor in response to the Shadow Demon and Silencer bans coming out from London Conspiracy. So as you mentioned, a lot of crowd control already offered by the Ancient Seal. If they were to have the Global Silence as well, they may pretty much drop this Brewmaster before every engagement, before that primal split comes out. So good ban there. Earthshaker going to be picked up here from DD. So strong roaming support here, long range of initiation, and pretty good team fight with the Echo Slam available to him. Obviously a lot more magic damage toolkit to synergize with the Skywrath.
The Silencer banned mostly to protect London Conspiracy's current, let's say, team-heavy, team fight-oriented lineup. And Earthshaker, though it's not exactly a global silence, the long-range Fissure is probably the best that you're going to get as far as just interrupting the flow of that team fight. So Enigma, until he gets BKB, is going to be wary of that Earthshaker Fissure. And Brewmaster, if he gets jumped with a Fissure into a Blink Hoof Stomp, into a Flare, things can get really bad for him very quickly. So DD, they are as pretty much prepared as they can be to go up against this London Conspiracy opening draft. But the question is right now for London Conspiracy, do we go deeper into this team fight, or are we okay with just Black Hole and Primal Split? Ogre Magi is not really in any direction in particular, but it is going to be that support hero.
Yeah, definitely not a hero that's generally considered team fight oriented or anything else, but definitely is a very good ganker, can sustain in lane. One thing I do worry for them is this means that their only support in lane, unless they run this Ogre as a core, is a melee support. So gonna probably be zoned out pretty well by the Arcane Bolt of the Skywrath Mage. He does have high base armor, but obviously that does nothing up versus magic damage. So the right clicks of the Skywrath will tickle him, but other than that, he can get zoned out fairly easily by the Skywrath, and then they can relegate the Earthshaker to either roam or do some pulls and should be just fine in lane.
I wouldn't mind DD if they shuffle their Centaur down towards the bottom lane and go aggressive with these two heroes. Earthshaker, Skywrath Mage, very capable, and then going for something like a Gyrocopter or one of those carry heroes that can fight early on is going to be huge, because as you said, they only have to worry about one melee support. Skywrath Mage can handle that by himself. If you add someone with a lot of kill potential, then you could absolutely smash that top lane if you are DD Dota. Even if Enigma comes in with a whole bunch of Eidolons, well, just throw some AoE on them and you're golden. Invoker is going to be the pickup first, however, so they're not going to show their hand until they really have to. There is ample Sunstrike set up, and London Conspiracy, they're going to go for a Jakiro as probably a core Jakiro.
Yeah, it must be a core role Jakiro, unless we're going to see that new meta off-lane Ogre at this point. What do you feel about their ability to push here? They do have the Eidolons, they do have the Liquid Fire, but I don't know if they have the firepower to be up into a lineup that includes a Centaur and an Earthshaker. There's a lot of counter initiation there.
I mean, it is going to be them probably guaranteed a couple of towers before they really have to be scared of the Blink Daggers. As far as DD's ability to fight early, level 6 in the Centaur is going to be probably the most scary thing for them, except for the fact that you're going to be stampeding into a black hole, which is usually favorable for the black hole side. So London Conspiracy, they're going to try to go for this pseudo-push lineup. I don't think they could go for any additional pushing heroes, though, unless they want to go for someone like Nature's Prophet as the last one, but I don't know, up against Earthshaker and Invoker already with the AoE, you probably don't want to be going that direction.
Faceless Void going to be banned out here, by LC, so they're not going to round out that lineup with an off or safe lane Faceless Void, but they will respond with balance in all things. Ember Spirit going to be picked up here by Team DD. What are your speculations on the lanes here? Pretty standard stuff. Invoker in the mid, Ember in the safe, as well as the Centaur in the offlane?
Yeah, I would expect that to be the case, except I would expect the Centaur to be joined by Skywrath Mage and Earthshaker, just because, again, you have that early game power, and Ember Spirit, well, as of right now, you don't quite know who he's going to be going up against. and there's actually no indication just yet. So DD, they have to, shuffle their lanes depending on what they see coming out
Right.
from the London Conspiracy side. But I just think the kill potential of this Shaker, Skywrath, and Centaur lane is too good to pass up. And if London Conspiracy want to pick up, a really hard carry as their last, then someone like a Medusa, then, man, she's not going to stand a chance.
Definitely so. So we'll see if they look to go for the offlane hero here, or perhaps, as you mentioned, the safe lane. They have 35 seconds currently remaining of reserve time, and a whole lot to think about at this point. So we'll see what direction LC end up taking this. This is the GG League Season 2, guys. This is our second to last best of 3 in the round of 16. And the winners will go on to face the winners of the next match that we are covering, which is, if I just check here, Vega versus Hehe United. So that also a very good matchup. Timber going to be the pickup here from LC. Interesting pickup. There's a lot of things to cancel this Timber chain with the Cold Snap, the Searing Chains, the Fisher for obvious reasons, the Ancient Seal. So I do worry a little for this Timber, but he should be fine if, as you mentioned, that DD ends up going aggressive here. So will be interesting to see how they end up laning this.
Yeah, though DD may be ending up with quote-unquote aggressive lanes, it's definitely going to be London Conspiracy to play the aggressive game. When you pick up a Timbersaw, Jakiro, and Brewmaster as your 3 cores, you're not expected to go beyond the 30-minute mark convincingly. If Ember Spirit gets any semblance of farm, if Invoker gets a Hand of Midas and, by 10 minutes, then it's going to be DD to just lock down the late game so very hard. And London Conspiracy, they have to use the Jakiro pretty much perfectly. And if they don't, then they're just going to fall flat. They have to take probably all the tier 2 towers by 30 minutes, if not be actively pushing Raxes. Otherwise, their team fight is going to fall off in a big way, and it's going to be them relying more and more on black holes and splits as the game progresses. And that's never the stage of Dota where you really want to play.
Yeah, certainly will be a difficult challenge to see LC rip this Enigma out of the jungle early, perhaps around the 9-minute mark, and begin to push with that Jakiro. But nevertheless, let's introduce the teams. I'll take the dire side. London Conspiracy here. Madara gonna pick up that core Jakiro currently in the safe lane. We've got C Spartan up on the Enigma. Relax, gonna be playing what is presumably the off lane Timbersaw, as we see a 5-man movement from LC. Kaiser going to be playing on that mid lane. Brewmaster, will we see an engagement here? Ace is going to walk up the hill. Will Maleficent be sealed? Fisher's going to go across 2. Ignite going to hit into the Earthshaker here. Crit running back. He's going to get Maleficent up as well. Is there a Thunderclap here? There is a Liquid Fire into him. Nice Hoof Stomp to disengage from Ace, and that should stave off the aggression from LC here. Going to round out the lineup for them. As I mentioned, Kaiser playing on the Brewmaster, and that's going to be Skanks on the Ogre Magi.
All right, going over DD real fast. We got Ace, who's going to be going up towards the top lane. Rise is going to be supporting as the Skywrath Mage, as is Crit on the Shaker. Mid lane is going to be Baby Knight on the Ember. Bottom lane, we got Bland on the Invoker. And that early game engagement actually worked out very, very well for DD. First of all, they forced the Enigma to pick up level 1 Malphus, which is never really what you want to do. And that's going to hinder his jungle by quite a bit. And the Jakiro kind of stayed the course and decided to go look for Liquid Fire. It's because that was the game plan. That was, what you're going to do in lane. And because of that, they couldn't get the Ice Path out. And I'm pretty sure that would have ensured the kill on the Shaker. So London Conspiracy, they kind of just shuffle in 2 directions with that engagement. And it's ultimately, Enigma miskilling, let's say. So Spartan is not going to be able to jungle from level 1. And even if he was able to, Crit is doing a decent job at making sure that that doesn't happen by blocking off 2 camps.
Yep, he warded and body blocked a couple of camps here. So Ignite, Harass, as well as a couple right clicks going to come out towards him. But he'll be just fine to back off and tango up here with a little bit more movement speed than Spanx does have. Even has to drop a blocking Fisher just to dissuade him from continuing to chase. Baby Knight actually going to take up the mid lane here. So we will see a dual lane in the safe lane with Bland, and currently, of course, the Skywrath Mage zoning out the Timbersaw from lane. So actually it's going to be the Jakiro. So Madara going to have a rough time in this safe lane, and Bland should find quite a bit of farm.
It's a lot more important for DD to be shutting down this Jakiro. His Liquid Fire is going to be what is driving the push for London Conspiracy. The more zoning they do, the more experience they could deny to the Jakiro. Hell, they don't even need kills on him. They're just going to slow down the push just a little bit more every single time. So every single time you slow down that push by every single minute second, you're going to be saving yourself a whole lot of hassle. So Madra, if he doesn't get some significant support, then he's going to be struggling in this lane. He does now have skanks in the lane to kind of help him out, but this is that Ogre Magi versus Scarith Mage situation that we were talking about before. It still shouldn't be the best lane for London Conspiracy, especially if Crit ever decides to roam down there. But it looks like for now, he's going to be mostly playing that defensive Shaker role.
Yep, and Blan has opted for that level 2 Invoke, so he will be able to provide some global presence with the Sunstrike if needed. It doesn't look like they will be too aggressive in any other lanes, but the Centaur should find quite a bit of farm in this top lane. He's only got a 1v1 versus the Timbersaw at this moment as the Enigma is jungling, so he should be able to stand up in lane without any worry. Crit is currently invised up, soaking some experience away from Sea Spartan, so as far as they've already hindered this jungle, it's going to continue, and they should certainly be worried on the side of LC in that manner.
It's a very similar situation to the bottom lane, what the Earthshaker is doing to the jungle right now. Every single experience points you deny to the Enigma, it's going to be one less extra point of Malphus. And Shaker is fairly free to do this, even has the possibility of throwing out a Fissure if he wants to interrupt the jungle of Spartan, but I don't know, that probably is going to be a little bit more dangerous than he's really comfortable actually taking. He will throw out one, but now Spartan knows that he is being stalked, so who knows what's going to happen in that jungle area. Regardless, DD, they're playing this pretty much correctly. Their two core heroes in the Ember Knight and Invoker are getting some pretty decent farm. They're making sure to do their best to shut down the Jakiro and Enigma, who are going to be the driving forces of the push. And Ace is also getting a couple levels. Again, Stampede is when DD can actually afford to go aggressive.
Yep, the Centaur Warrunner already sitting at level 4, tied for the highest on the board at this point. Whereas Madara is only sitting at level 3, but he does have skanks in lane with him, soaking up a bit of that XP. Soul Ring is going to be picked up here by the Timbersaw for LC, so Relax going to have a little bit better of a time, going to be able to harass out that Centaur a bit. Of course, Timbersaw probably one of the better heroes to go up that Centaur just because he doesn't rely too much on physical damage, so he's not taking too much of that return. We do see an engagement in the jungle, but just Skanks trying to soak up some experience. Cold Snap's going to go out as well as a concussive shot. Nice blocking Fissure. One Arcane Bolt going to be finishing him off, and that's first blood going the way of the old MYM squad. Rise going to pick that up, and that'll make him able, to grab his boots here and zone out the offlaners even more so than already is occurring.
I gotta be honest, not too surprised at that first blood. It was more or less inevitable, and it was more or less going to happen down on the bottom lane, if anywhere at all. Maybe Ace would have given it up, but maybe level 6 Brewmaster would have gotten it, but I think highest probability the first blood would have happened down here on this bottom lane, where London Conspiracy, they already dropped the kill, and they have to be careful not to get too out of position again. A concussive shot into a cold snap, that in itself hurts like hell, and if you add a Sunstrike on top of that, which I don't believe was actually used on the Ogre Magi, that's going to guarantee a kill in a hurry. So it's got to be London Conspiracy playing this very cautiously, and right now they're trying to go for crit. This is pretty much a bait, although no, there's no Scarith Mage here, so yeah, their Shaker, I guess, just really wants to D-ward.
So eliminating some of that information here, Cliff Ward removed for the side of LC, so they will be blind in this bottom lane, which is going to force them back a little more and allow Baby Knight to play pretty aggressive in the mid, knowing that Kaiser may be expecting a roaming support duo coming his way in the form of the Earthshaker Skywrath.
Yeah, those two heroes definitely with potential to roam, and we do see Shaker now picking up his brown boots, and I think Rise picking up his brown boots as well. No, not quite yet, but either way, there is one smoke on crit, so I think it's soon to be the time to use that. Maybe they want to wait until Ancient Seal. No, they actually have it. The Scarith Mage just hit level 4, so now going for a kill onto the mid lane Brewmaster is very possible. Helped out by the fact that he doesn't actually have any mana, so you don't even have to silence him because he literally cannot cast anything. So this should be the course of action for DD, just to keep all the heroes of London Conspiracy a little bit off guard. And hey, look at that. It lines up perfectly with the level 6 of the Centaur Warrunner. So whoever they go for is going to be in a hell lot of trouble, and it might actually be this Enigma who is spotted out. Baby Knight going to jump forward, looking for some chains. Will find them from long range to the Sunstrike. That's going to land, and with the shield burning, Enigma is going to die. Rise getting a little bit of help in there as well, so it's a very easy kill for Baby Knight. Chains hitting kind of at the edge of the range. Now going to try to go for Relax the rest of his shield. That's probably not going to happen, but hey, it's going to give a little bit of experience to crit.
Yeah, unfortunately, Baby Knight not able to bottle up in time there to get the Searing Chains off during the duration of the chain. Meanwhile, bottom lane engagement has happened here, but Skank's just gonna get backed off. There is a Fire Blast into crit. He's getting pretty low. Ice Blast as well as the Dual Breath into Rise, but everyone sustained at this moment. Enigma has rotated in. He's gonna find a Malefice on crit. He's gonna drop the trees with a Midnight Pulse. A few more right clicks into crit should be able to bring him down. Ice Path gonna land from long range with the Black Hole onto 2 underneath the tower. Liquid Fire gonna hit as well. Dual Breath and the Liquid Fire gonna burn down Bland. Rise is going to rotate into the trees. He should be fine. Rotation in from Ace, but he's already used this Stampede. Hoof Stomp's actually going to whiff. Nice dodge by Skanks there, but the Double Edge will finish him off. And it ends up being a 1-for-1 in the bot lane, but LC's certainly willing to take that trade, bringing down Bland's free farming Invoker for the Ogre Magi held by Skanks.
Not done yet. Baby Knight is going to find the retreating Enigma and will make short work of him. He's earned a little bit too far away to help out, and that was, I guess technically you could call it a 2-for-1, but up towards top lane it was relaxed to first of all get the solo kill on the, Scarth Mage also getting sniped by Jakiro. That just happened. It was the Timbersaw to get the solo kill on the Centaur Warrunner, just surprising him with the burst damage, and then Ace actually bought back in order to help out on the bottom lane. Yes, he did get the kill on Ogre Magi, but is that even worth it? I'm not too convinced. They're going to look to continue the fight down on bottom. Fissure is going to not line up properly. However, with the Sunstrike Double Edge, they might be able to get this kill regardless. Fire Blast can hold out crit for a little while longer. That means Madra is going to survive. Now they keep throwing out an Ice Path, which will hit onto absolutely nothing as they do Stampede away. Here comes Relax. He will not be able to get that much done, though. Really, I don't think there was much potential there, even if the Ice Path did hit. Jakiro is going to survive. Everyone from London Conspiracy going to survive down this bottom lane. Technically, they are 1 kill behind, but man, that kill was very expensive for DD.
And they do rotate over Relax as well to no avail, so no success from that rotation, so a little bit worried about that. They did bait out a Stampede, however, so they know that is down for the next 80 seconds or so, so they can be a little bit aggressive in this bottom lane. Interesting to see Rise opt for that Null Talisman over the Boots. What do you think about this choice, even though it is pretty damn early in the game?
I don't really think it matters that much. I mean, the Earthshaker has Boots himself, and you don't really need both of your supports to have Boots in order to initiate a fight. Obviously, it's better than not having Boots at all, but as long as one form of crowd control lands, the second one is almost guaranteed to land as well. So Scarth Mage is going to be able to pick up Boots soon enough, and he'll be fine eventually. Up towards top, you do see Bland being aggressed upon, but Ace is coming in. And it looks like nothing's really going to happen just yet. However, no, Baby Knight's also going to cancel his teleportation. So, yeah, the Scarth Mage build seems perfectly fine to me. Maybe it would have been better to go for an Ancient Seal build this game, but that would have had a marginal difference, if any.
Relax has been engaged on in the mid. Ancient Seal, Concussive Shot, Arcane Bolt. The chain's going to hit as well. Mystic Flare going to whiff just slightly, but the Remnant going to finish him off here. Baby Knight should be able to rotate outwards, and he'll be just fine. Top lane, we do have convening here. Blink forward, but the Stampede forward and the Sunstrike with the Hoof Stomp will actually split on 2 targets. Centaur going to go down, but the Double Edge going to finish off Madra on the Jakiro. So 1-for-1 in the top lane and quite a bit of committal from LC. So that 1-for-1, definitely a trade DD is willing to take at this point in the game. But that does reveal the Blink Dagger, which was picked up sub 9 minutes for this Brewmaster.
Fortunately, it was not in time. I mean, the Centaur Warrunner didn't realize that he was running straight into a trap. Probably didn't care that he was running straight into a trap because he got his target. He brought down the Jakiro, and that is pretty much the name of the game for him. So it's still Keezer sitting on this Blink Clap Split combination, and when he does have that, he's always going to be, or generally going to be facing up against Centaur Stampede, which is probably the best counter you can find versus that split, because you may be able to throw out a rock, but by the time you actually catch up to that rock, it is going to be way too late because the enemies are a million miles away. So the Centaur Stampede is going to be the brick wall for the Brewmaster, and if you're not making use of the split by now, I don't think you're going to be making that much use of it in this game. You really want to have at least one split by now just to set the pace of the game.
Certainly do, and the Centaur opting for a Hood of Defiance here, so interesting pickup from him. Not going to go the Blink Rush that we see all too often, but he should be okay with that long range of initiation offered by the Earthshaker as well as the Concussive Shot from the Skywrath Mage. So he opts to go for a little bit more tankiness up against the magic damage of the lineup of LC, and he is going to farm up a stack here in the jungle. Baby Knight's already found Phase, Poor Man's Shield, and Drums. He's sitting at the top of the net worth chart, 5,300 net worth, 63 CS, only surpassed by the Enigma at this point.
He's doing really well, and up against just a Brewmaster and now just a Timbersaw, it's kind of to be expected. If you want to kill off an Ember Spirit, you need a little bit more than Thunderclaps in order to do it, especially once he hits level 6, and well, that level has come and gone in quite a convincing fashion. Up towards top, no fight just yet. Although Ace does kind of feel like he can use the Stampede aggressively, I think it's much better if he just holds it and waits and uses it as a response to the Brewmaster split. But for right now, DD, they're not being pushed, and this is really where London Conspiracy want to be pressuring at the very least tier 1s. But if we take a quick look at the health status of all the towers, bottom lane's at half, and that's it. All the other towers are almost perfectly healthy. So if London Conspiracy keeps sitting back like this, they're eventually going to be facing up against Blink Dagger Centaur, very stacked Invoker, and that's dangerous times. Of course, top, they're going to catch Ace. Fissure is going to connect onto 2, slowing them down a little bit, but there's not enough mana for a Stampede, so the Jakiro will get the kill in the end. There is a rotation here from Baby Knight, however, one random melee creep is following him, so this is not a surprise at all. It's just going to be a clean kill for London Conspiracy, and it looks like that should just about be it. Unless they want to re-engage up on top, which they will with the split. Given the Centaur is down, they're going to very quickly kill off the Earthshaker. Now looking for a little bit more, though. Rise a little bit too deep in the trees. It's going to be 2 kills for London Conspiracy up on the top lane, and that should just be about it. Unless they actually do find Rise, but even if they do, I don't know if they want to blink forward for this one. You do have Timbersaw coming out from the side, but it's going to be that push, and he's just going to jump forward for a nice 2-man clap. Maybe not going to pop DD room with the chains and the Mystic Flare. Keezer is going to take a fall. Now Ace comes in with the Stampede, lands a stomp on Skanks, double-edging him down. Here comes the Timbersaw, though, onto 2. The combination is going to hit very hard. Baby Knight jumps through the enemy, and now is going to run off to the north. Maybe just trying to split up the attention. He will try to TP. Whirling Death, not quite going to do it. And now Ember Spirit has the option of jumping back to the Spirit if he really wants to go full on, but it doesn't seem like that's the best decision. He's probably just going to walk back to a lane and be fine. It is going to be DD with a pretty decent turnaround up towards top, even with, fighting through a Timbersaw. Yeah,
definitely well played by them. Rise to hide in the trees, as you saw. He went for the split first, and he disabled up the Earthshaker, but knowing his team was postured right behind him, he tried to go immediately for Rise and Cyclone him up, but he did fog him, and that extended the fight out. It was and allowed Baby Knight as well as Ace to rotate in. Baby Knight also making a nice play running to the north, which split him and Ace in opposite directions, and LC not ending up getting either kill.
Yeah, so for DD, though they do lose a Tier 1 tower, it is 14 minutes, and that is the first Tier 1 tower they've lost. That is pretty much on track if you are DD, and for London Conspiracy, you kind of want to pick up the pace a little bit more. They have a Yule Scepter now on the Jakiro, so that is going to actually let them push a little bit more just because they have more initiation options. Also, they have a completed mech on the Enigma, so it's going to be bottom lane where they set their sights. And let's take a look at the Blink Dagger status on Centaur. I don't know, this hood might be hurting him a little bit too much. He's still quite a ways away from that. And Invoker's gone for actually a Necro Book. That's maybe an okay item for fighting, but I don't really know if that's the route you want to go this game. I think probably just hand him Midas and try to lock down the 30-plus minute game would have been better given the farm of Baby Knight, but still it is going to be an attempted tower trade, and good luck outracing a Jakiro, but mid lane tower is already pretty roughed up. So this should be a 1-for-1. Although we do have a Jakiro teleporting in straight into Baby Knight. I don't know if you want to be going here. He's going to set up for an Ice Path, dual separate combo. Baby Knight taking a hell of a lot of magic damage, but will jump out. Sunstrike and Fissure onto 2. Mystic Flare a little bit late, however. And they will not get either of those 2 kills. Skanks is going to get silenced immediately, but the Primal Split not going to catch anyone as a Stampede does disengage very well. Bland now into the cover of Tier 1 tower. Will get Chain Stun up with the Ice Path, and he will be brought down regardless. Echo Slam in the back end. Crit is going to very quickly bring down Madra. Now they're going to go on to Relax. Baby Knight's going to chase him down and kill him off. That's a 2-for-1 so far. Skanks taking quite a bit of damage from this Scarith Mage, who does get thrown up into the air. Keezer back to his main form, looking to bottle up and throw out one more clap. Rise is going to get multicasted, clap down, and brought down. No time to get an Ancient Steel out. That's going to be so far still an even fight, and it looks like that should be the end of it. Centaur was not a part of that for very long, and he could have really made the difference.
Yeah, unfortunately that Sleight of Fist Searing Chains combo just a little too late to hold them under the Mystic Flare, and that pretty much spelled doom for their team fight there. Baby Knight gonna re-engage, though with the Sunstrike. They will bring down Skanks, and so a nice little return kill from the side of DD there.
I really don't know if London Conspiracy are actually getting enough traction in this game. I mean, it is 16 minutes now, and there's going to be, more or less even on the towers. Baby Knight is getting terrifyingly huge. Bloodstone, very nice item on the Timbersaw.
From Ace is ready here. 2-man hoof stomp as well as the double edge go and the Fissure to follow. Chakram is out though, and a nice whirling death on 2. They're gonna stampede to disengage. Baby Knight is left all by his lonesome. Sunstrike will finish off the Jakiro here, but Baby Knight next to fall, and he will drop to that Chakram. So that's a 3-for-1 in the mid lane, going the way of LC. Somehow Ace came up with his Blink Dagger out of absolutely nowhere, so he must have farmed up a stack or two during that engagement. As you mentioned, he was absent from it, but the first use of the Blink Dagger actually unsuccessful for the side of DD.
Blink Dagger on Centaur is a fantastic tool, assuming you have significant follow-up. You need the Sunstrike and the Mystic Flare to land, especially when you're going to be connecting onto two heroes like that. Otherwise, it's just going to not be enough. And, well, mid lane tower is still going to survive, although it is deniable. I'm sure that'll happen one way or another, but it is, you know, like Conspiracy fighting and taking a couple kills here and there. Still, it's not them taking towers. The Timbersaw now has a couple Bloodstone charges, and he will be quite a nuisance, but it's not like DD don't have answers for this Timbersaw. They have the Ancient Seal, they have the Cold Snap, they have a whole slew of stuns coming out from all of their other heroes as well. A stacked Timbersaw is not going to give Blind Conspiracy enough to outright win this game. They need someone else with a lot of farm, and I don't quite know who that is going to be. It's going to be the tower to inevitably drop. I guess I didn't realize that it was deniable, but it's going to be Bland to be set up down towards bottom. He's going to get caught in the Macro Pyre and an Ice Path. He will very quickly Ghost Walk and be more or less fine, maybe thinking of turning things around, as he does have Forge Spirits and a couple of Necro units chasing down Madra. That's not going to happen. He's going to teleport out. Ace and Baby Knight, unfortunately, the rotation not really going to do too much, but DD, they really don't have to be getting kills here. They just have to not die.
Yeah, and I believe that is the trump card for DD, is they know that they're not so much on a clock as is the lineup of LC. They haven't gotten too much done with this Brewmaster, who is building into an Aghanim Scepter here, so not going to go for that Brew fighting build, going to go for that upgraded Primal Split. Brink forward in the mid lane, Ancient Seal, Mystic Flare, Sunstrike even there, not needed, but Relax will commit suicide Sudoku with that Bloodstone, so nice play by him, denying up himself from the lineup of DD there, but they do find a pretty worthy pickoff. Baby Knight going to be aggressive upon in the bot lane. There is a smoke here. It does pop, though. Blink forward. Black Hole is going to be committed here from Sea Spartan. No follow-up, though. He should be able to remnant out. Actually, the Ice Path does land barely in time. There is a zoning Fisher here. Sleight of Fist goes out. Remnant forward. He should be just fine. He is thrown up in the air, though. Yules jump in, though. Sunstrike, Hoof Stomp. Double Edge going to finish off the Enigma. Split going to be committed here from the Brewmaster. He will rock up Rise. Timber Chain going to come through from Relax, and the Skywrath Mage going to fall. 1-for-1 thus far. Out of position, though. We will see the Centaur, but he's able to blink away, and they will just find a tier 1. So still a good trade for LC here. 1-for-1, and they get a tier 1 tower in the mid lane. That's going to even things up in the mid lane. Thus far, 4 towers left for LC, and they've been able to take 3 of DD's.
It would have been a very acceptable trade for DD should their tower not have gone down there. It was probably inevitable, but trading your Skywrath Mage for the Enigma, that probably in itself is worth it for DD to take. And then when you combine the fact that Split was used there from the Brewmaster after a clean disengage from DD, it probably still resulted in a slight win for them, just given the state of the game. Invoker putting a lot of pressure up towards top in the meantime, and getting himself quite a few items in that level 3 Necro Book. So his split pushing is going to be incredibly annoying moving forward, and LC, they don't want to be dealing with split push. That is the last thing they want to be dealing with, because they want to be always in a 5-man formation, always charging forward into lanes, and it worked for a couple of towers, but so far we haven't really seen it come together yet. And really, without Black Hole, without Split, they definitely can't fight. Maybe without only Black Hole with a Split, they can fight, but it's going to be very narrow if they do come out ahead. And in the meantime, it's going to be top lane Centaur with the help of Skywrath Mage looking for a Timbersaw. If Blink Hoof Stomp lands, that might be a kill. Sunstrike as well. Ancient Seal with the Flare. And Relax is going to take a fall. Yep, there we go. A couple more hits, and Centaur's going to get that kill. It's another nice slowdown technique for DD, and well, Bland on the bottom lane might be the trade here. He's being stalked by an invisible Ogre. Sneaky from Skanks. He does have a little bit of backup here in the Jakiro, but there's a Ghost Walk, there's level 3 Necro Book. Bland can turn around and run away, or you could turn around and fight. He's going to get caught with the Yule Scepter first, into an Ice Path, and pops the Necro units beforehand, has Stampede and Ghost Walk, but he gets multicasted. That's going to mean his doom.
Yep, but definite skill shot there from Skanks. Meanwhile, Crit going to pick up his Blink Dagger here, so some nice counter initiation will be ferried out to him, to couple with the Centaur's initiation. So very nice pickup for them. Ace going to be caught out. He does react nicely. He'll blink away, but a blink forward from C Spartan. He's going to have to commit the Stampede here. Chakram not going to connect, and he will be able to run away, presumably. So Ace, they do bait out the Stampede there, but Ace surviving in the top lane.
Baiting out Stampede isn't really that much of an issue. You have a 1-minute window where your Brewmaster ultimate is going to be a little bit better, but really, if you take a look at the lane status right now, pretty much at the middle, if not, a little bit towards the LC side of the map, means that they're not going to be able to start a fight within this minute window where the Stampede is down. So ultimately, that pulling of the cooldown, not too relevant. It's still going to be DD with the amount of burst damage that they have. I would expect to be more aggressive looking for these picks. Whereas for London Conspiracy, they have all their teamfight ultimates. They have an Aghanim's on the Brewmaster. This should be their best shot at bowling down some tier 2 towers, and it looks like over towards mid is where they're going to try to go first. A Blink Eul Scepter from Madra can open up a fight, or just a Blink Black Hole from the Enigma. They have their eyes set down towards bottom. And Bland, this time, has backup from a Blinking Earthshaker, and it's also going to be the Ember Spirit, first of all, to get caught out. He will actually Sleight of Fist before he lands in the Ice Path. Now has the guard up. He's going to try to double jump away. Will put a lot of distance between himself and the enemies. Will it be enough? Probably not, because there's a Timbersaw in the game. He's going to get multicasted and brought down. Here comes the Cavalry, potentially. It's going to be Rise to get jumped upon, actually, by the Brewmaster. With that Aghanim Scepter, he will take a lot of damage. The Neon crit is going to help out the Invoker minions and will kill off the Enigma. However, he will pay the price for that kill, as he will give himself upwards for it. Bland still being chased down, Rise still being chased down by this Brewmaster. Lots of damage going towards these two heroes, but in the end it will be a 2-for-1, I believe, after all is said and done. Ace, once again, not present in this fight.
Yeah, not sure why they have a Centaur farming the off lane here. Either way, he was countered up by Majara on the Jakiro, and a nice engagement in the jungle going the way of LC. They were able to split up the lineup of DD there and caught crit out with that Whirling Death Timber Chain combo by the trees. Baby Knight actually did whiff his Searing Chains as he remnanted away the third time, and he was able to get off a Sleight of Fist before dying. So perhaps if he held on to those chains, got off a Sleight of Fist chains combo, he could have delayed the lineup for a second and held them in place while the rest of his team either disengage or look to re-engage on them. So not sure that held much credence over the result of the fight, but either way, they do find the highest priority target in the beginning of their engagement. So a little bit of luck going the way of LC, but either way, they're going to find a high priority target once again. Yule's up into the Ice Path, ding, 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 and Bland down on the Invoker once again. And that's going to be the fourth time he falls. 3, 4, and 7, the KDA on the Invoker thus far. However, in the top lane, C Spartan going to be engaged onto, as well as the Timbersaw simultaneously. They will be able to bring down this Enigma with a few more right clicks from the Earthshaker and Baby Knight. Echo Slam actually going to be committed to finish him off. And Sleight of Fist Searing Chains out onto Madara. Ancient sealed up is relaxed. They're going to look to back off here. Meanwhile, Cries are picking off crit with the help of Skanks here, so they'll find the Earthshaker in the back lines. And across the map, 2-for-1 in the jungle, 1-for-1 Enigma for the Earthshaker.
Though numerically does still favor London Conspiracy, I still don't think it's quite enough for them to feel entirely comfortable. However, if they get Ace right here, that could be really great. I don't know why Ace decided to stay here. It was, quite frankly, a bad idea, and he will pay the price for it, ultimately making it 3-for-1 in that total engagement. So that might be a little bit more worth it for London Conspiracy, but they still, have the problem of no real late game going up into an Ember Spirit and an Invoker, and just dangerous times overall. They still have yet to make any sort of real attempt to go for these tier 2 towers, and someone on DD actually fat-fingered something, because they just fortified for no reason, and that is actually really bad. Like, in this particular game, up against what London Conspiracy have, you need your fortifications. So London Conspiracy, they're not going to go for a tower push. They're going to go for Roshan first, which will not be spotted by the Sunstrike. I don't believe it was in range of the Enigma. So I don't think DD actually have a response for this. So one bad event in the botched fortification, and then second in the missed Sunstrike, and suddenly they're going to be facing down an Aegis. Yeah,
they do have the blink from the Earthshaker, but no Echo Slam at the ready. Sleight of Fist Searing Chains is going to catch out Madara, but an Ice Path going to be there right after the Yule's Shock. I'm going to go into Baby Knight as well. He's able to remnant away, however, with the Zoning Fissure provided by Crit, and it looks like they'll go right back into the pit here. A little bit tentative. They do have Kaiser taking quite a bit of damage from Roche. He'll actually just TP out. Hopefully he doesn't get bashed here. And he will be just fine. Spirit going to be dropped by the Ember into the pit to scout things out. And you will see that they have backed off at this point. So nice little engagement there from DD. They don't commit any deaths. And they do back off LC out of the pit.
Alright, so London Conspiracy, they still are, or they still should be, looking for a fight now. Right now, we see Spartan off to the side, looking for a black hole opening, is probably not going to be afraid to commit it onto a one-man, assuming that one person is Baby Knight, but unfortunately for him, the Ember Spirit is all the way up on top lane, or at least was, before he jumps down into the Roshan pit. DD, they're going to try to go for this push, because they have a pretty large and sizable Invoker army. But this is going to be walking into a death trap. Really, there's no reason for them to be risking their lives like this, and it looks like they do agree with me. They're going to fall back for now. There's no reason to go on the attack right now when you could just sit back and chill for another 20 minutes and have your Ember Spirit get, more and more items. At that point, he's going to be unstoppable.
Yep, currently sitting at almost 12k net worth, about 1,000 ahead of the next closest target, which is the Timber Saw. Baby Knight doing pretty well here. He's got his Crystallis up as well as his Battle Fury and 1,400 gold in the bank. There is a rotation from 5 from LC, but this was actually pretty much predicted from the side of the old MYM boys, as the map was circled by Crit there. They're going to make a rotation through the enemy jungle, so both teams in disjoint positions at this moment. Some nice aggressive warding coming down here from LC, but at the moment it won't garner anything. But they will walk into the pit, and the Sunstrike will scout this out here, but they're pretty out of position to defend this, so perhaps they'll look for the very standard trade of the top lane tower for Roshan. However, they may not be able to get to this tower and bring it down in time. There are TPs from pretty much the entire lineup, aside from the Brewmaster for LC.
Even though for London Conspiracy they have a very safe Roshan lineup, they don't have a very fast one. It's pretty much just Liquid Fire buying them safety, and Timber Saw and Brewmaster not exactly the heftiest of right clickers. It's going to be the tower destroyed before the Aegis is claimed, and they're actually still working on it. They finally will bring that one down. Timber Saw now with the double life and BKB is truly going to be a force to be reckoned with, assuming he doesn't get initiated upon. But DD, I think they should be okay with that trade, as they were probably too far away to really contest, and I think they probably could have gotten there and maybe started a fight, but you don't really want to be fighting in the Roshan pit up against a Black Hole, a Timber Saw, a Jakiro, and a Brewmaster split. Just a little bit too much, so they make the safe decision, and once again, it's them playing as they should to try to play around the LC game, and now they're going to smoke up and try to catch someone by surprise. This is a really good tactic. I mean, you were just there and you made a clean retreat. The enemy will probably not expect you to still be here. And if they catch Relax, that could be a free Aegis. Although it seems like no one from LC is going to be caught off guard by this, as no one from DD is on the map, so it should be pretty obvious that something's going on.
Relax trying to chain up to the high ground. He's just going to look to clear this wave out, perhaps find a little 200 gold bounty from the Necro units. But not too privy to losing some of his health at this point. Ace is going to aggress on him, though. Blink forward, Hoof Stomp, Double Edge, Mystic Flare, and that's a free Aegis, as you had mentioned. They're going to look perhaps to disengage here. Fisher is available, but they will not drop it. And Relax will retreat, but a free Aegis nonetheless. And they do bait out a BKB charge here. Ace going to jump forward, bait the BKB out, and just turn tail. And that's kind of a huge commitment for LC on that 10-second BKB.
Oh man, that's the best Blink Dagger you're ever going to see. Blink forward into nothing to draw out a BKB charge. In the meantime, bottom lane, Maja trying to push that one with the help of Spartan's going to get aggressive on. Ace is going to jump in very quickly, put some serious damage onto this Enigma, with Deafening Blast helping out, as well as the Sleight of Fist. The Enigma will fall. Now here comes Kaiser, but it's only a 2 versus 4 right now. Very quickly they'll have an Ogre Magi here. Baby Knight going to try to 1v2. Crit's going to bail him out with a little bit of time on the Echo Slam, but it won't be enough to save him. Skank's going to join the fight as well. Crit's going to just get beaten down by this Brewmaster split. DD certainly not respecting this ultimate. They're going to continue to be chased down by it. Bland doesn't have any mana, so he can no longer fight, and Kaiser can return to his main form. It is going to be a 2-for-2 overall, but still it's going to be a fight that benefits DD because they took down the Jakiro, and I think they could still afford to make a defense right here. Of course, Relax is going to be dangerous, but it looks like they're going to decide to sack this tower, so London Conspiracy finally getting a little bit of traction in those tier 2s. It took them long enough, and I don't know if it took them a little bit too long. Earthshaker's going to be up in 15, but this tower will be dead by then. Unfortunately, because they don't have the Jakiro, London Conspiracy cannot go for more in the high ground push or anything like that.
Yeah, and they do opt to glyph it here, so interesting choice. Of course, they know that they can't continue, as you mentioned, without the Jakiro, so just going to delay things for LC. Unfortunately for Bland, wasn't able to get too involved in that fight with his army. He did commit the Sunstrike to get that Jakiro kill, but not much damage coming out from the Invoker despite opting for this Blink Dagger here, and it looks like he'll continue on to build into the Hex.
Right, so getting some pretty big items is X you could very rarely be upset about, assuming you actually get that one in time. And well, it seems like both teams, well, I mean, it seems like DD has quite a bit of time on their hands. Ember Spirit is also going to be going for a big item. It's going to be a completed Daedalus for him. So at that point, he is going to be absolutely the right-click king in this game after he picks up a BKB. After that, which should be the build for Baby Knight. Anything else is probably a little bit too suicidal. He will be unstoppable. Like, they have to engage him with the black hole, and if they don't, then Baby Knight is literally going to run circles around the London Conspiracy team. So London Conspiracy, they have all their ultimates up. Where's their next target going to be? It looks like it's going to be top lane where they attempt their push, but in the meantime, it's going to be Crit split pushing down the bottom lane, and well, mid lane is going to be shoved pretty aggressively towards the Dire as well. London Conspiracy might not be able to push this lane.
Yeah, certainly something they lack in wave clear in some sense. I mean, they do have the Thunderclap along with the Dual Breath and, of course, all the Timber Saws toolkit, but just being positioned all together by virtue of the nature of their lineup allows DD to push out these other lanes where they aren't present. Bottom lane, Relax is waiting in the wings for Crit to show himself, but it doesn't look like that'll be the case. He actually does blink forward towards the lane, and he uses his Fissure, so is pretty vulnerable here. But he will back off hastily, and wisely so.
He's just going to apply as much pressure as he can to the wave, using the blink and fissure to clear that. Probably a little bit risky from Crit, but as long as he's not punished, this could be fine for the Shaker. As I say that, well, Relax, thinking about coming in. At the same time, it's going to be Keezer and Spartan thinking about jumping into someone. It's going to be Baby Knight. This is someone you definitely want to use a straight-up black hole on. Otherwise, you're just not going to get the kill. Instead, they're going to hold the smoke and go for the Shaker, who is way off to the right. Crit might be able to sneak out of here if he had so much time to TP, but now I think he's just screwed. Is your TP? No, he's dead. Unfortunately for Crit, he decided to stay, and that was not the correct decision.
Yeah, against a Timber Saw, you don't want to stay with the trees. You're putting yourself in quite a bit of danger there. Full Daedalus, though, completed over on Baby Knight. Sitting at 14k net worth, he's just barely above Relax's Timber Saw. So Relax is able to keep up here. And even the Brewmaster keeping up in farm with the Invoker. However, Ace has picked up a Reaver in addition to his Pipe and his Blink Dagger, and is well on a way to a Heart of Tarask. And he should be able to stay up in these engagements and get a couple of Hoof Stomps off, which really could turn the tides of battle towards DD's favor.
Of course, True Damage and Whirling Death going to be cutting through that HP pool probably as fast as you can expect from any hero, really. So Ace, though he is very tanky, is not going to be completely without answers. He is going to be such a nuisance for the London Conspiracy side, and though they also will spot out an Invisible Brewmaster, so nice little win there for DD. Just going to let them split push and farm for a little while longer. Baby Knight's going to double jump forward, trying to look for Spartan, will not find it, but he doesn't really have to. They're going to get Shipon by Motto with Split as well. Vi's going to turn around for Mystic Flare as Ace just books it in the other direction. Is going to run to the north, looking for a Blink TP out, but with Ice Path and Cyclone on the field, I don't think he's going to get enough time to do either. He is going to be caught out of position, and he will be brought down, and not too slowly either. So it is going to be 2 kills for London Conspiracy up on the top lane. They did use a split for that. This time they can afford to go for this push, and maybe try to force out a buyback from the Centaur, though he does not have one. That's probably the best that London Conspiracy can actually hope for, as their mid lane, and soon to be their bot lane, is going to be shoved very, very far into their own base.
Yeah, so nice play by Baby Knight as well as Crit, pushing the other lanes out, knowing that a push is imminent here from LC. But at this point, I think with the Centaur down, they have no choice but to at least force buyback in this off lane. So unfortunately for them, they find the 2 targets in the tower, in the lane with the tower that is least worthy. But either way, will be a nice trade for them. Glyph is not available here for DD, so they do find 2 clean pickoffs as well as a tier 2 tower.
So currently they're holding a okay experience lead and okay gold lead as well. Cracking the base certainly going to be the challenge for LC, as that is usually the case with these types of lineups. We get all tier 2s, but how do we actually end the game? If they take a nice fight in the middle lane, that's going to certainly be helpful. The Earthshaker is going to be set up with an Ice Path. Crit really doesn't stand a chance here. He will be brought down. In the meantime, Keezer and Skanks held off by chains. They will try to chase forward for a little bit more. Baby Knight is pretty slow with the Ignite and the Haze, but he will be able to jump away. It's only Shaker to die over towards mid. And all these pickoffs, they're slowly starting to add up in favor of London Conspiracy. Normally, in this type of draft, if you're DD, you're okay with losing a couple heroes if it means buying more space and more time, but that Earthshaker kill bought neither, and it's going to Bland also to get caught with the Black Hole. This Invoker better go down here. Bland caught the Ice Path. Macropyre looking for a Ghost Walk out. He is going to take a fall due to all those dots. That will be yet another kill for London Conspiracy, and maybe they're going to even go for a little bit more. No, it's only an Ogre Magi versus Centaur. Probably not a great engagement. However, versus Rise, now that's a fight that Ogre can take a little bit more comfortably. Invisible Ogre is once again so sneaky. And is he going to go for it? Rise is just going deeper and deeper into the Legion Commander, might not even saying Legion Commander, LC side of the base, and Rise is now completely dead. I don't know where he was going, but it wasn't a good idea. I thought he was going to ward here.
I agree.
But, like, that's not where you go. Like, that's not the right direction.
He did have 2 obs wards, so that must have been the intention there. And good patience from Skanks, actually looking to see where he ended up warding. But as he passed by the cliff and traversed down that path that you drew, they just decided to open on him, seeing that he wasn't going to ward that cliff at the moment. Bland did die in the bot lane with 4,600 gold, so a little unfortunate for him. He still did have enough to finish his Hex, which I assume he has done here, and he does pick it up off the courier as he respawns, but nevertheless losing quite a bit of gold there, almost 500 from that death, and that'll set him back a bit. Meanwhile, LC gonna walk into the pit here, but as you mentioned, they're pretty damn slow at this Roche. However, DD pretty much caught out of position here. They will put some chip damage into the tier 3, however, so they probably are privy that this is occurring, and there will be TPs back from Relax, not before about a quarter of his tier 3 is chopped down by Ace.
It's going to be a fine trade for sure for LC, especially if they can catch someone on the retreat. A Blinking Forward into a Eul Scepter Ice Path can kill off anyone. However, when you're Searing Chained up and then Sunstruck, you really don't want to continue that fight. Fissure as well. DD with so many disengaged tools. They also still have a Stampede if they really need it, which they probably won't. But wow, London Conspiracy, they really want to get some kills here, and they do have Enigma coming upwards from the river. Ace, going to be chased down, has a pipe, is going to be forced into the Stampede, gets Malphus. He does get a Hoof Stomp out, but he's stuck now in the Midnight Pulse, taking quite a bit of damage from all this magic, but he does have that pipe working overtime. Here comes the rest of London Conspiracy, and yeah, takes them 5 heroes and a lot of time to kill off the Centaur, but they do bring him down in the end. And well, DD maybe should have just used a Stampede a little bit earlier just to get a clean disengage. It is going to be Centaur to fall. On the Conspiracy, with no creep waves in their favor, though, are once again going to be forced to fall back.
Baby Knight did TP out there. He picked up Boots of Travel fairly recently, so won't increase his damage, but will increase his mobility across the map. And LC has been giving them quite a few opportunities to do some ratting, so I don't mind this pickup here at all. Obviously synergizes very well with the ultimate from Ember Spirit, so will not find any Ancients available to him. There's a nice aggressive, obvious but aggressive ward here from LC, scouting out quite a bit, especially that courier rotating over to the side shop, so they will see what is picked up. Relax sitting on 14 Bloodstone charges at this point. He is pretty much standing in Fountain wherever he goes, so that's pretty awesome for him. They're going to need to bring him down soon. He does still have that 8-second BKB, so he's going to be able to pop that to counter up the Ancient Seal and should be fine in most of these engagements for the most part.
Yeah, you can't really underestimate the potential of Surprise, though. Blink from Earthshaker or Centaur Warrunner can set up for a very quick kill on the Timbersaw if the right circumstances were to align themselves. But well, LC, they're now 40 minutes into the game, and normally with a draft like this, I would say, oh, no, they're out. They just literally cannot win the game anymore. But they're still kicking, and they're still finding a couple of picks here and there. DD, maybe split pushing a little bit too heavily, can look for an engage, and they will do so right now with a smoke up on 4 heroes. They're going to see the Brewmaster, and this is a kill that they really, really want to take if they can catch him with some crowd control. Instead, it's actually going to be the Ogre Magi. I mean, you get what you can get. And Skanks is going to take a very quick ball, and at the same time, it's going to be Invoker to fall up towards top. Got jumped by a party of 3. So it's 1 for 1, but that's certainly a trade that LC are going to be willing to take, especially since, I mean, it's Ogre Magi. His job is to die.
Get Fire Blast off, die. That's about it. Force Staff going to be picked up here by Crit, so he will have that max mobility build, but as you mentioned, trade across the map, very poor for DD here. They do have the buyback on the Invoker, and he does have a lot of critical items at this point. Madara going to go forward looking for a pick with this Yule Scepter. He does have Blink, Force Staff, as well as bots, so an absolutely massive range of initiation for this Jakiro and for the side of LC, but it looks like they're gonna sack this tower for now. Baby Knight actually gonna look to cut the wave, but he's a little late. Unfortunate timing for him. Ace gonna be smoked up. He's rotating towards the offlane tower, not gonna find much here, perhaps just gonna look to split push, and he does continue to put some harass into that. But meanwhile, his tier 2 in the mid is about to drop. Liquid Fire still up on it, and it will tick down and be actually cleaned up by the Eidolons. They'll TP and commit the split in the top lane. Rock into the face of Ace, and the pipe not going to save you this time, my friend. He'll be the sacrificial lamb once again as Baby Knight retreats into the tree line and Boots travels out back to base. So, as you mentioned, 42 minutes in the game, but it seems like DD keeps feeding over priority targets to this very potent and very maneuverable lineup of LC at this point. And they're finding trades, and they're finding, what is more important, objectives off of most of these trades.
It's like the 5th-ish time, if not more, that DD have just lost a core hero in a retreat. Like, it's been Invoker, and then it's been Centaur, and then Invoker, and then Centaur. And that's just one too many heroes that they're bleeding. And LC, they don't have the split. They're going to feel more than comfortable to go for this push. However, Spartan is going to get annihilated in a Mystic Flare. Down his Aegis now as Moderate gets hexed up. In the meantime, dropping a Meteor and a Deafening Blast will pipe up and will be fine for a little while longer. Relax. Looking for an engagement. This is really where Timbersaw does not like to fight without a Blink Dagger, though. Rise is going to take a lot of damage in the meantime. Chakram Nut quite going to kill off, and then Crit with a nice Echo Slam onto 2 just to slow down the enemy. Doing a little bit of damage here and there, but not substantial enough. Tower is still going to take quite a beating as Liquid Fire is continuously flowing. Centaur is going to be back in 7 seconds. Tornado. Every single stall tactic that the Invoker has is going to be thrown out here. Fortification over to use. Crit should be looking in for another Fissure, and he will, but he jumps right into a multicast. In the meantime, Madara going to lock out Baby Knight, who's going to put some serious damage into Keezer. Will bring down that Brew, and now the Black Hole from Spartan. They have no tools to interrupt this through the BKB. In the meantime, the Rax is still taking quite a bit of damage. Ace coming in from behind. Not in time to save his Rax, though, as Relax is going to take a Sunstrike to the face. He will go down right here. Ember Spirit's going to buy back and return to the fight with no BKB. He is vulnerable to this crowd control. They're going to catch Skanks at the corner. They will make short work of him. Brewmaster, though, back in the split, is going to go to town on first the Skyflame Shaker. Now Baby Knight stuck in the corner completely. Is going to be going down again. I think LC might have just won the game. Ace is still alive, going to try to go for Madra, but he's going to fall just a little bit short. Still the Brewmaster in that split, going to town, onto Ace, now into the main form. He's going to kill him off yet again. He has a buyback. The Invoker, though, is the only one left to survive. And wow, that sustain coming out from LC is just disgusting with everyone running interference. They had a refresh split and all that. And DD, they need so desperately a BKB on the Ember Spirit, but it might just be a little bit too late because Bland is going to try to make a valiant solo defense. He is going to pay the price, has buyback, and so do the Skywrath Mage and Centaur, but now they're 2 Raxes down. It took LC a very long time, but DD, you can only feed away your core heroes for so long before you get seriously punished, and this is all of that coming together in one point.
Yep, and GG gonna be called here by the stand-in team, formerly MYM, and Relax will finish the game with 12 Bloodstone charges, had about 18 throughout that engagement, and it was turned heavily when Baby Knight looked to commit onto the Ogre Magi. He actually got a multicast off in the corner there. The Ember Spirit ends up going down, and as you mentioned, the sustain from LC just too much for DD to power through, and LC will take game 1 in this best of 3. This is GG League Season 2, guys. First game of our best of 3 today. We will have the next one coming up very soon. LC gonna take this one in pretty convincing fashion, but I feel like they were just out executing DD a little bit too much. DD a little bit sloppy with their disengagements, as you mentioned, feeding over a core heroes just one too many times to this Timber Jakiro core lineup, and they end up making them pay with that tower push along with the help from the Enigma. So well played from LC, well drafted as well. Kaiser was able to get things done once he picked up that Aghanim Scepter. Was a little bit underwhelming in the early game, but either way, they accomplished their objective, and well played from them. 44-minute game. We will be back shortly, guys. Thank you for joining us over on HeflaTV, and we will be back shortly for the second game of the day. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you momentarily.